Filmmaking Podcast. New Series Episode 3. Innovations in Sound. When film editing was done by physically cutting the film, editing the picture could only been done on the frame line. However, the sound was stored for the whole frame between each of the 4 sprocket holes, and so the sound editors could cut on any arbitrary set of holes, and thus get one 4-frame edit resolution. With this technique, an audio edit could be accurate to within 10.41 milliseconds. A limitation of analog optical recording was the projection frequency would cut off, in a well-maintained theater, at around 12 kHz. Studios would often record audio on the transparent film strips, but with magnetic tape on one edge, recording audio on full 35 mm magnetic tape was more expensive. 3 different digital soundtrack systems for 35 mm cinema release prints were introduced during the 1990s. They are, Dolby Digital, which is stored between the perforations on the sound side, SDDS, stored in 2 redundant strips along the outside edges, beyond the perforations, and DTS, in which sound data is stored on separate compact discs synchronized by a timecode track on the film just to the right of the analog soundtrack and left of the frame. Because these soundtrack systems appear on different parts of the film, one movie can contain all of them, allowing broad distribution without regard for the sound system installed at individual theaters. The analog optical track technology has also changed. In the early years of the 21st century, distributors changed to using cyan-dye optical soundtracks instead of APPLICAT tracks, which use environmentally unfriendly chemicals to retain a silver, black and white, soundtrack. Because traditional incandescent exciter lamps produce copious amounts of infrared light, and cyan tracks do not absorb infrared light, this change has required theaters to replace the incandescent exciter lamp with a complementary colored red LED or laser. These LED or laser exciters are backwards compatible with older tracks. The film Anything Else, 2003, was the first to be released with only cyan tracks. To facilitate this changeover, intermediate prints known as high magenta prints were distributed. These prints used a silver plus dye soundtrack that were printed into the magenta dye layer. The advantage gained was an optical soundtrack, with low levels of sibilant, cross-modulation, distortion, on both types of sound heads. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share.